Welcome to Selling Out.
Coming up on today's episode.
We now have these flat, grey, soulless kind of shoots of movies and series and things.
If you've survived Christmas at Argos and
Oh
you
my
worked
God,
there,
Christmas.
you can do anything.
Oh my God,
No.
sausage fingers.
No sausage fingers.
No sausage fingers.
I look quite pretty.
If only they knew they were flirting with a dark-skinned homosexual.
Before we welcome today's guests, a quick thank you to our brilliant sponsors.
Yeah, if you're heading to Brighton and you want to make the trip legendary, quite literally, book your stay at Legends Hotel right on the seafront and just steps away from the city's best nightlife.
They're also the home to some of Brighton's hottest drag shows, so you can sleep, sip and party all in one place.
Book at legendsresortbrighton.com and tell them we sent you.
And if your current headache is less, where am I staying this weekend, and more, how do I buy this house?
Mortgage Medics have you covered. They specialise in straightforward, no drama mortgage advice, whether you're buying your first place, moving up, or refinancing.
Their team take the stress out of the process, find the right deal for you, and make sure you're smiling long after you got those keys.
Basically, they're your home owning headache cure.
So go to mortgage-medics.com and tell them we sent you.
Welcome to Selling Out. Nick Ford and Michael Cheatham.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Happy to be here.
Very.
It's been a lovely journey here in the car, hasn't it? We all came here together. Lovely. So let's start as we always start. Please tell us, Nick, what letter of the alphabet are you, and what are your pronouns?
I am he, him, and I am a big G.
You're big G.
I'm a big G. Capital
G.
one.
Michael Cheatham.
It's very much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he, him, and the big G.
We
Oh,
got
big
two
Gs
big
today.
G. I'm not a G. How dare you?
I'm a big G. Mostly big Gs.
No, I do like a G.
We've heard.
You might be able to tell listeners that it is going to be a fun episode,
Yeah.
this one. We're very excited for it. And it is a photography special.
Yeah.
We've got two legends of photography, two Brighton legends here with us. It's very exciting. We're very excited. So let's get into it. Our first question.
First question. So we start with you, Nick. What was your first job?
Oh, first job. Well,
Take us all the way back. All the way back.
all the way back.
Is it 60 years
Such a
ago?
good story.
60? I mean, that's a bit. That's
For those
below the belt, isn't it,
watching, you
really?
can see that Nick is a whippersnapper.
At 42.
Yeah.
No, when I was 15, my first job was selling double glazing on the telephones. Yeah.
Would not have said that.
I know.
fabulous.
So trundle down the road from Hoe down to Blatchington Road and working in the offices above the co-op. Be on the phones
Is
and
that where it was?
yeah. And we used to get sales like commission on leads. But one of the things one of the things that I struggled with momentarily was the annoyance of people assuming that I was a woman on the phones because I was very young and my voice was even higher than it is now. I used to get mistaken for a woman. So instead of getting annoyed about it, I decided to be a little bit controversial and embrace it. And on the phones, I became Sharon. So
Sharon from the guys.
I used to be Sharon. I used to be Spanish Sharon, Liverpudlian Sharon, common Sharon, put on accents, make the time fly.
Stop it.
Yeah, it was great. And we used
Sharon
to,
in sales.
Sharon in sales, and we used to get. I used to get so many leads because of the men that would answer the phone and would just assume that they would be flirting with a rather voluptuous blonde. If only they knew they were flirting with a dark-skinned homosexual. Used to make the time fly.
That is such a good story. Oh my
Love
god!
it.
And were you a good salesperson as Sharon? Was Sharon good?
Sharon was
Sharon
great.
always hit her
She
targets.
did. Yeah, she always hit her targets. She did.
Oh my god, that's a good first job story. I like that.
And were you out in your first job?
No.
No. Okay.
No, that was 15. Did you say?
Yeah.
And you're
Oh,
born.
no,
in-
well, I might as well have been like, I think I might have been, I was at college, so maybe 16, 17.
Okay. And you're from Hove. Yeah. You're
Born in Brighton.
born in Brighton.
Yeah.
Not many people are born in Brighton. Most people all just levitate there and end up living there.
I blame the gays.
Is that the reason? Did
Yeah.
you catch it? Lovely. And Michael, Same question to you. What was your first experience of working life? What was your first job?
I worked for Argos, the retailer.
You told me this
And
before.
Gary and I some synergy there.
Yeah.
And I went in as a stockroom Christmas temp.
Oh my lord!
hidden out the back.
What a small world! I was also hired as a Christmas temp in Argos, which is where I met Gary.
Yeah.
We talked about that in another episode.
Argos does, it fuels many relationships.
It does. The amount of the stories I could tell you about the stockroom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to say any more
I
legally.
I don't think I can say say anything about them.
Do you know what? Interestingly, in Argos, in Northern Ireland, we had. Don't know if you know this, but there are some issues in Northern Ireland with incendiary devices being sent into shops, and there were cases of this in Argos where stuff would get returned with an incendiary device that would catch fire during the night and burn things. So we had a room that all returns had to go into for 24 hours, like a fireproof,
48 hours,
bomb-proof safe room that we had to put all returns in. That's my lasting memory of the stockroom in Argos. You had to put them all in there.
So it was,
wow. Okay.
It was categorized into different days, so you knew when it could come out.
Isn't that mad?
Yeah,
And it was like literally
Do they still do that?
No.
Let us know if you know that.
No,
in
I don't know
Argos.
whether
Maybe they do that in Ireland.
Yeah, definitely it's a
no,
Northern Ireland thing. It's
no,
not
it's a
an
Northern
England
Irish
thing.
thing.
Yeah, you can return a kettle, let's say for example, and it's unused. It meets all the checks. It can go back into our stock system. And it can go out the door again to a new customer in 30 minutes.
I am obsessed with the Argos chat. And that was your first job?
It was my first job.
Yeah.
I did do work experience for a graphic design company, but that was my first paid job.
Okay. And
was-
what age are we talking?
19.
Okay.
19.
And were you out at the time?
No,
Okay.
no.
Were you aware of any queerness in the Argos staff at the time?
Whoa, I can't. Yes.
Sorry, I threw you with that
Yeah,
one.
you really did. I didn't think anything of it because I was in a relationship at the time, so I didn't.
Oh, you were in a straight relationship?
No.
Oh, so,
I wasn't out.
You weren't out, but you were in a
Let me-
relationship.
So
Got you.
yes.
So you both weren't out.
No, he was out.
He was out.
I wasn't out to my parents. I think that's the definition for me is actually
Okay.
coming out is when I tell the ones closest to me.
I'm with
Whereas
you.
my friends knew,
Yeah.
Got you.
but my parents didn't.
And your
I
work
came out
team.
in 22 to them,
Okay.
and then that's when I kind of.
And what about your work team? Are you quite a person that's kind of like separate from the work kind of crowd and
Yeah,
at that
my
time,
life was very different.
separate
It
from
was very
that?
separate. So I had like university life,
which
which was the party out gay life.
opening
And
up.
then-
We've talked about that with previous guests about that experience at university being, which interestingly for me, like I had the university experience in Manchester. Gary never went to university, went straight into work from McDonald's, worked his way up. So there was not that liberating experience of university. Whereas, I was with Gary whenever I was at university, but it was that people have mentioned about the fact that you can be yourself fully and you can experiment with your identity and that kind of stuff as well. Where did you go to uni?
Brighton. That's the reason why I came. And I did actually. I chose Brighton because of its safety net. That's why it was in terms of its LGBT.
And what did you do in uni? What did you study?
Architecture. So I'm never trained to be a photographer. I was always the kid photographing. I was the artsy kid at school. Out of hours, locked in the woodworking room, or the artist studio, and I loved that. That was great. But photography was such a risky career path for my parents and my tutors, those that are advising me on the next steps of where to go, which was great to have such a good support system. And they basically said it might be a difficult career if you were to pursue a career as a photographer. So the narrative was step into something that is not respected, but this is my parents' voices coming through right now. But stepping into a career path with a solid foundation for the future. I think that's
Solid foundation. I like the link to architecture.
Yes.
See what they did there.
Structure. So architecture was how you started out.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's the thing about people in school. When you grow up in school, it's all about getting a job. It's not about starting your own business. It's not about being creative. It's about
do your exams, get a job, go to university. What are you going to be, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is? Or, you know, but no one actually said, oh, go and start your own business.
Yeah, because you get that in school. Did you get it? Did you, where you get the careers advice and you get like, I think it's done in like the space of a week. They're like, oh yeah, it's careers advice week. Yeah. Just what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And you're only doing A-levels. And I remember it being something really inconclusive for me. Like I did Spanish, French and art. So no one knew where to put me or what to do or what, like you say, at that time you're looking for what's going to be a career that's going to be profitable or going to be like successful, that idea of success. But like Gary said, it doesn't give you the path of vocational, of this, of that, you know.
Yeah. Did you go to uni?
I didn't go to university, no.
So you're like me, yeah.
So what was your path after that double glazing sales? What was your journey?
I the thought of, I mean, like fast forward to now, I mean, I back then I was petrified of getting into debt to go to university. God help everyone nowadays.
Yeah,
but it's like I left school, went to college, did photography A-level. Was only one of four boys in our class that did photography, and I got an A. I managed to get through my entire A-level without writing an essay. Not quite sure how I managed to do that, and I got an A. And did really unacademic subjects at college, and then went and worked at Amex because that's what most people do in Brighton. It's like the biggest employer of Brighton. So when I worked at Amex, and then got fed up with the carrot dangling of, oh, we're going to promote you. So someone said to me, oh, you like travel? I was like, yes. You like photography? Yes. Why don't you go and work on cruise ships as a photographer? So I did.
Did you?
Yeah. So
you were a cruising photographer.
Oh, I was a cruising photographer.
Not much has changed, has it, Nick? What long lens and fish?
So I went, and that for me was a bit like my university experience, I suppose, because I was able to be myself and experience things that I wouldn't have been able to experience.
Of course, yeah.
So it was really good. It's a very artificial environment, but I got to travel and see and make a lot of friends.
So you did that for quite a while then. How long were you on the cruise?
So I did one full contract split over 2 ships, which was about 6 months, and then I leveled with them and said, I did this to travel. I'm the pay wasn't great, so I'd like to see other places. So I carved a niche for myself and became a relief photographer. So they'd call me because we lived so close to Southampton. And they'd say, oh, Nick, someone's got the sack or someone's pregnant. Can you jump on for a cruise? And I'd have towards the end, I had just had a brochure handy. And I'd be like, well, I'll do these 2 weeks for you in the Canaries if I can do the 3 weeks that's going to the Western Med after. And then,
oh my God, you had their brochure in front of you.
So it's great, but it was good. So I was able to kind of build build a business, and then there was a tipping point. I did a world cruise in 2013, Southampton all the way around, which was amazing. And then I just ended up getting the studio and building a footing here. So
on the ship, is you taking pictures of passengers that they can purchase?
Yeah. So it's full on. It was a full on operation, and for me, like there wasn't that much in the way of being able to experience something in the photography industry that was like the whole process. You know, like event photography and stuff is a bit soulless sometimes. People like you see them just standing like at a backdrop taking pictures. It wasn't like that. It was. There were elements of that, obviously, but you know, from the designing and the templates for the prints and printing and putting the prints up on the boards and you know, all the processing and interactions with customers, selling in the gallery. It was quite interesting, and I think there's a few elements that I have definitely taken from that experience and incorporated it into what I do now.
I love that because that is, like you say, like it's a full exposure
of. So I did there. That was, oh my God, he's on fire.
Fantastic. Full exposure of the photography business as an entrepreneur. So as someone, had you always considered yourself entrepreneurial? Like, had you always thought of that?
Not at all. Okay. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I left college.
So you just, right.
Yeah. My dad was a semi-professional photographer and my granddad was a semi-professional photographer. Really? So
in the blood.
It's in the blood, but I'm the only one that's kind of ever got their name on a door.
Business. Love that. Love that.
And question: so when you were studying photography, did you have to develop your own? When you go into those dark rooms and
When we were at college, we had a whole dark room.
What dark rooms were
Well,
they?
they're not those kind of dark rooms, Johnny. No.
What?
They're
dark
actual
room,
dark rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, the red ones where you develop.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Where the film
Yes.
gets processed. And all the terms that all these young'uns nowadays have absolutely no idea are stemmed from the photographic process in the lab, like
'cause you
burning
actually
and dodging
process
and
things. I saw recently, side note, but it just in my head, so I'm going to say it. I saw this big kind of write-up recently about film more so than photography, but the same world of how movies were shot on film, and therefore they had the grading, they had the lighting, they had to have that all in shooting, whereas now everything is done so digitally because Netflix requires it. The digital format requires it to be multi-use, and so we now have these flat, grey, soulless kind of shoots of movies and series and things where they literally put side by side of movies from the 90s versus movies now. I think they just did the remake of Practical Magic, and it showed a side by side of them back then. And the thing we love about that movie is that it's warm and it's
feel
like
of it.
the feeling of it. You can see the textures of everything, and the side by side was literally like flat, completely 2D.
it is really interesting
it's
because
lost so much
there's
from
so
that.
much that is happening in
Same in
post
photography,
now.
yeah.
Whereas before you try and get it right in camera and you do it. And I hate the phrase FIP, fix in post.
Yeah, I'll fix it in post.
Oh, no. Just try and get it right in
I guess it's a
moment.
balance, isn't it? But I guess, yeah. I mean, obviously, gone are the days of film. I'm sure there are people still use the medium of film to get the qualities that they want and stuff. But everything is now done digitally, isn't it? But it is still that thing of lighting it in the moment, which photography still very much has, lighting in the moment. And then I guess you fix and tweak and things.
Yeah.
But even to the point where I'm quite a hands-on person, and like when we were on the ships and we would do like formal portraits and stuff, it's about the experience. And if people want to be made a fuss of, and they want to make, you go up to the gent and straighten his bow tie, and those kind of little things which you can quite easily sort out in post. But from a volume point of view, if you've got 400 couples that you need to look, it's easier just to get it right in camera, get a nice experience, and then you know that you've done everything you can, and they're more likely to come and buy the print. Whereas if it might be lost in translation, you've got to pass that memory card over to a printer. They've not got time to straighten it to look. They're expecting you to be able to get it right straight away. Whereas when you're like ourselves, we're like lone horses working on our own. We know we can make a mental note and go, okay, I need to get rid of that traffic cone, or I need to sort out whatever. You can do it. But when you're working in a team, I think it gives you a better respect for the process when you know there are other people involved in that process.
And Michael, did you do any training in a dark room?
Did you have these pads?
No, I did. Sorry, I was supposed to experience the darkroom very young. But I was privileged to be able to develop film at a young age. But I've always professionally handled digital cameras, and I haven't been to a darkroom in a very long time. And, I think my process at the moment is quite complex. I actually do frequent and say I'll fix it in post quite a lot. But when it comes to Nick and I do a lot of weddings, like you said about fixing the bow tie, fixing a tie piece, fixing the veil on a wedding dress, fixing them in person and making those moments really special. That's another element that the photographer brings to the job, is how we help make people feel on the day that they're experiencing our services, whether that's a wedding day, a birthday, a christening. We've done those, and all different types of things. But the editing process is extensive, and for me personally, especially with my weddings, people don't understand it because we're jumping around about costing now and things like that. But so much of my time goes unnoticed. So if I do a 10-hour wedding, you're looking at potentially...
It's not a 10-hour wedding, is it?
It's all the the pre-consultation, the site visit, the recce, the telephone calls in between, the texts. That's what I'm more happy because it builds the vision of the day. And then once you shoot the day, 10 hours plus, and then for usually every hour that I'm on site, I do at least 4 to 5 hours worth of editing on that hour. And that could be a number of different things, though. It could be hair and makeup retouching. It could be the train of a dress has got caught, or someone's put a muddy footprint on it, and it's in a beautiful portrait, and it's just taking away too much focus. So I'll go in and take those things out. It's just a long process.
It is, and I think that says it, because, you know, people don't see... A lot of the times in a lot of industries and a lot of things that are done, especially in creative work, it's not seen, the preparation, the skills, the talent, the stuff that you've built in terms of relationship building, like you say, because that's how you get someone at ease. And I guess when someone's at ease, that's when you get the best pictures. That's when you get what you need. And I think you said you do a lot, the fix and post, but I know I've seen some of your magic, and that there are things whenever you do fix certain elements that you wouldn't even consider need fixing. But actually it just when you see side by side, and you've shown us some, it's amazing. But I think, the thing that you said about getting the right shots and being there for the day, like being able to capture those kind of moments and those things and how what they mean to people is such a magical thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
really magical. Yeah.
It transcends the day itself. So my brand's Amity Weddings. The idea, it stands for friendly relations. The word ami, friend. So friendly relations, it transcends the day itself, and it always leads to more work in terms of portrait work, maybe a business corporate event, or another wedding. That's usually what happens. It's just built upon that. But we are almost relationship people in terms of what we do.
Well, people are trusting you with their like magic moments, aren't they? Their special moments.
And on the day, you're not a wedding photographer. You're an organizer. You're the lipstick carrier. You're the, you literally have to like run the flowers to the other room. To you're literally another pair of hands.
Yeah.
Because there are so many things. When you've been to as many weddings as we have, you just know there are certain things. And when people are literally going in and they've got no clue what they're doing, to a point, because they've never done it before, it's nice to know that they've got another pair of hands that they can rely on, and you can just literally suggest something. I mean, I've I did a wedding last year, and not one of the bridal party's group could sew, and the bride's button pinged off. One of her buttons pinged off on the dress, and she was trying hard not to have a meltdown. I was like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to I'll do it. We're gonna obviously not have as many photos because I'm gonna. But I did it, and at the end,
no one could sew.
I was sewing this wedding dress. Did it, and at the end of the day, I said, and just an FYI, I'm not a seamstress.
Yeah.
I just hope it gets you through the ceremony. Yeah. Anyway, at the end of the day, she turned around. She guess what? And her husband came up to say, "It's still here." I was like, "Yes." Oh. So she was really grateful that. And it's one of those things. Again, it's like mindset and thinking. If your outfit isn't right and you're thinking and it's distracting you, or it's something hanging over you.
Yeah.
Shirts. Then it's nice to know that they've got the reassurance that that's one less thing that they've got to worry about.
Yeah.
But you do just have to kind of step up. You don't want to see anyone struggle, especially when they were on their big day. But it was quite funny. I don't know how I was just like.
Well, I hope she's listening. I hope she's listening to this and appreciates that.
I'm not naming names. No. I'm not naming names.
Playing confidentiality.
I was going to ask, have you got? So you've done hundreds of jobs and different kinds of things. I was thinking before when I knew I was coming to speak to you guys about this. The kind of change in photography and how you obviously at any given event will take hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures and then choose the ones that are the best, retouch them, do all that. But back in the days of I was looking at, whenever people would get a photo taken, they would literally sit and pose and everything would be proper and the family would get it done. And then the photographer, they'd get a photograph from it. And then that would be it, or a couple, and it would be super expensive and stuff. And just looking back in those photos with a queer lens of, there were lots of people that people now look back on and go, oh, they were good friends in those pictures. They were good friends.
That's why they were there.
The amount of Victorian pictures, especially you see now, of queer people, of male couples, female couples, all different spectrums. They're few and there's not obviously as many of them as there are of the traditional ones, but they are there, and it is funny how we kind of perceive them. But people, that feeling of going and getting your picture taken whenever it's that one, and it's the same feeling, I guess, it's your event when you get lots of pictures, but it's encapsulating that time that you have paid for someone to come and document that for you. It's that age-old thing, isn't it, that you're having that moment documented. Yeah.
A part of me wishes it was still like that a little bit. So in the elements, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think it's probably similar in line with me. Sometimes getting an audience to focus on you and partake in the process of taking the photograph without being silly, without making like a joke at someone else's expense, and just making or poking fun at someone in the audience to get a reaction out of them. Whereas back in that time, they knew that they had to be respectful of each other, and we were paid to be here. And photography used to be a luxury. We still sell a luxury service, but photography in its past, it was only the mega rich that could afford it at the start of its infancy. And I do wish that sometimes I would get some well-behaved individuals. But then again, some of my best photographs I've ever taken is where the most chaos and the most they don't usually know I'm there. That's definitely a USP of mine.
But I think maybe all of that's changing, because sometimes I feel everybody feels they're a photographer with an iPhone.
And I think you're right, because there is an element of, I pinch myself regularly that I'm still here in 2026 getting paid to take pictures, because everyone is a photographer. They've all got their telephones. They've all got the uncle that will take their photos at the wedding. You know, so, and there are always people who are always after freebies, or you know, and you just think, oh, it's the exposure. It's the exposure, and you're like, oh my god, exposure does not put food in my belly.
Do you know how many people, obviously being in creative space, like how many people said, oh my god, yes, I'm gonna pay for my dinner with exposure tonight. Like,
so it is really, and you know, you do have to kind of really be careful and work out if you should or if you shouldn't. But I think there's a lot of people that don't see the value, and also, you know, I feel like I was taken more seriously once I got my studio. It's really interesting, because I've got like 3.5, 4 grand's worth of camera in my hand, but someone wants something for free because they can't see any kind of value. But as soon as you've got bricks and mortar, they're like, oh, they've got overheads.
Yes,
he's got bills to pay. It's like, no, it's not like this is really expensive in my hand.
Weird.
What is, you know? But so that for me has really helped me justify and bring my self-esteem up, and feel like I can and should charge for what I do for a living. But as you say, you know, there are a lot of people who are out there who don't see the value in it, because everyone's got access to a camera.
We talk to businesses all the time about that value piece. Like, you have to know your value. You have to know, you know, and it's that thing, that perceived value is as much of a battle as everything else, where you are, that's part of, I mean, in a way it is your job to convey that value of who you are and what you provide. So that is your job. But you're right, whenever there's a perception of, oh, you'll do this, or oh, you're just doing this, or it's
because technology's moved on, and it has gone so far the other way from back in the day, where you know, only people who could afford it would have it. Whereas now the people who can afford it don't want to pay for it. But I've been working for myself for 19, 20 years, and I've had my studio for 12, and you just feel like you shouldn't have to justify, but you do, and that's fine. But it's just about having that perception.
And do you think,
addressed.
and do you think now, both of you, the AIs also, because obviously we had the iPhone, that was the first start of it, like with the camera, and now we've got AI where people can edit things and do things really quick. Do you think that's going to bring much change to the industry?
Yes.
And no.
No. So we look back, let's take it, 20 years ago when Photoshop first came around. That's a creative tool that Nick and I use. We use the complete Adobe suite completely. And there's AI elements within that, generative fill. These are little lifesavers for us. Those hours that I was talking about, 4 or 5 hours per hour on a wedding, I can probably reduce and shave a lot of time off now, especially as it advances. But in terms of, you know, just taking a photograph in your living room and going, put me in a wedding dress on a beach, and then, you know, there's a giraffe in the background. Like, you can do that in AI. Is it going to look good? Is it going to look real? Is it going to be a memory? No.
That's exactly the point, and that's what I
Love
always.
that.
AI,
is it going to be a memory?
It going to be the fabrication of so much now? And you're right. Like, we say this all the time in different contexts. So AI, when it's used as a supportive tool, or when it's used for essentially what it has been since it's been developed. I mean, people think it's this large language models are revolutionary. Actually, they've been used in scientific research for a long time. They've just been productized and monetized, which is why everyone now sees it. So so people think, oh my God, why are we not using this for cancer research to do this? We have been for decades.
But
like it has been. It's not been on your plate because you don't need it. But now we're being force fed it. And I think what we do as well and what we advise businesses on is use it when it's a tool for a time saving element. But so quickly people are getting into using it for everything.
Absolutely
using it to generate creative output.
No.
But exactly, you hit the nail on the head. And I've never felt or phrased it that way before, but you're not creating a memory with it. That is telling it to do some slop, to do something for you, which you've got no emotional connection to. You just got a bit of a laugh. That's all it is.
And it is true, isn't it? Because I think there will always be a requirement for photographers.
Yeah,
because it's not about it's about the eye. So if you want, and also someone to give direction.
Do you know what? It's been in my head as soon as when you said that. Do you know the moment where? Is it in Love Actually where Keira Knightley has that famous scene where she looks at the video and all he's done in the video is recorded her and she looks and goes, I look quite pretty. It's that moment because it's tickled me because everyone impersonates her doing that, but it's because she literally is looking at it and she hasn't quite twigged on to the fact that he is in love with her, besotted with her. Therefore, the footage is all her and it's all these moments where she didn't know she was being captured and she thinks she looks quite pretty. And that is the thing, like you just said, it's the eye of the beholder. It's the person that you've done your pre-work, you've met your couples, you've met the people. And you're catching them. And even when you're not, I know you show me, Michael, in some of your things that you've done at events, where you catch people off guard where they're having a laugh with the person next to them. That reveals so much about them. And actually, that's probably the best photo the best way they've seen themselves. And that's a memory of them. That's what it's about. Yeah.
And then people, I think, also morph into kind of how they view themselves from taking photographs.
The conversations I've had. With certain people of a certain generation, and it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna level with you.
Put your iPad down.
I say to them, okay, because all I get, I would be a mega rich person if I had £1 for every person that's turned around and go, oh, I hate having my photo taken. I was like, oh, wow, I've not heard that before.
Was that Sharon? Was that a little...
No,
was that
Sharon
a little... I think we got Sharon back then. That was Sharon boys.
No. So, the fact that people have this absolutely 100% distorted perception of themselves, the fact that we are mentally, what's the word, programmed to see ourselves in the mirror. That's what we see ourselves as, but it's not, because that's a reflection. It's not what everyone else sees. That's a mirror image of what your face is like. So when you see and you take a picture of someone and they've spent like, all the time they've been grown up because they're now so young that they've grown up with mobile phones and they're just selfie. Like, I'm like, the reason why you don't like seeing an actual picture of yourself is because you have this completely distorted view of yourself. Your forehead is not that big. Your chin is not that small because you've got this, like, the perspective of the forehead upwards, on your, and the chin, and then like, oh, and you see the penny drops, and you're like, I'm not going to take a picture of you with a massive forehead because you don't have a massive forehead. I'm taking a photo of you with a good angle. I'm not an arm's length away on a wide angle lens looking at the hairline of your head.
Stories people create about themselves, isn't it? And it's that plays into a lot of stuff, with kind of, I guess, there's elements of dysmorphia and which have been kind of exacerbated, I think, by the beauty standards. The beauty industry creates this thing where everything is filtered. Even Zoom calls are filtered. Like
filters
there's filters on everything.
Filters and angles are like the bane.
Yeah.
And then they'll either really embrace it, but also I think a lot of young people today as well, they might not necessarily have had an interaction with an actual photographer because they've got a telephone and they're like this. And then when I did some corporate headshots recently, and the youngest member of their team was, I don't know, like literally early 20s, and I showed her a picture and she was so happy with the photo. I didn't, I don't normally show people the back of the camera, but she was so happy with the outcome because it's like an actual representation as opposed to I'm dancing my tits off in a nightclub in Ibiza taking a selfie in the dark with my massive forehead.
And also, I guess I always wonder how many billions and trillions of photos are out there that are just completely never even looked at in people's camera rolls.
Oh yeah.
And the kind of, I think that then piles on that value thing of like, you know, it's just constant documentation. And I know I felt that whenever in the early days of social media, I felt that pressure of, a lot of people felt the pressure of having to post, or having to, not even having to post, even if you didn't really engage that much. I was thinking about this the other day. I just don't. I only do my drag account now. I don't do any other social media. But if you've got that thing of, should I be documenting this? Should I be, so you get that anxiety of documentation when actually it's the moments, it's the memories that where the photographers are. There's someone doing that,
and it also feeds into. We went to. I took his nibs over to up to Birmingham. We went to the NEC, to the photography show. He's never been before, have you?
Yeah.
And yeah,
What was that like?
It was.
expensive.
We spent a bit of money between us, but the reason why I mention it is because. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So. Value in documenting, but also I am very much, and I think you got quite interested in some albums because people don't print anything anymore because it's all electronic and it just sits in a hard drive or in the cloud.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid something happens and everyone loses all their electronic data.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't beat the feeling of pulling a wedding album out or an album or looking at a picture on the wall and appreciating it and rekindling an actual memory.
I have you're absolutely right. I have core memories of when I was a kid. We had sort of the office room, the room that had the PC in the corner back in the days whenever computers were in the corner of rooms and not in your hand. And we had the photo albums, and they were all there from like, I mean, I'm the youngest of 5 kids, and my parents were, you know, started having kids in the 70s, but we had albums of these holidays where I was maybe a baby or I wasn't born yet. And I remember crying. I remember getting emotional looking at these memories of my family where I wasn't there, or where I was a kid, or I didn't remember. And those kind of like sepia, like, and some of them were black and white and some of them were color. Just a really emotional experience going through photographs, photo albums, big leather bound photo albums. And then even the boxes that you used to get from Snappy Snaps of photographs, just flicking through those. Just flicking through that stuff, and and honestly, it's an emotional thing. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that whenever you look through those kind of photos.
But it's true because, and again, it's a really authentic memory.
Yeah.
No
and
one's
it's physical,
been playing around
and it's
with
there,
it.
Yeah.
No one's been playing around with it on computers and manipulating stuff.
Yeah.
It's done and it's there and it will always be there.
Yeah.
And you can use it as a reminder. It's
So I think that's coming back because
Film is coming.
We've
Film
done
is coming.
because we've done a couple of drag buses and stuff before, and people are doing
a couple of drag buses. I've done
quite a
hundreds
few.
of
But
disposable
drag shows.
cameras.
But they've got
cameras.
disposable cameras where they're just taking photos, but they don't know what's on them. But it takes me back to when years ago and went on holiday and you took the photos and then you came back and you couldn't wait to get them developed. But that seems to be making a comeback. Loads of people, and it's not even the one. There is also the ones that print out instantly, which is quite cool. The
Polaroids.
Yeah, Polaroids. Yeah. But these people just had these instant cameras. Which I really thought was quite.
It is, but also, I mean, that's great, and it's testament now to people actually having to be patient because there's so much. The other thing as well is everyone's like, "Oh, when can we see them?" And you're like, "Can you like?" Because because the whole
like,
world
I left
is
your
like
event
we want
5 minutes
we
ago.
want it like now. There's no waiting. So I will absolutely not give any wedding couples any photos for at least a week or two because I think it's really important that they actually process what's just happened and then they have the photos as a reminder of what's happened. Not to overwrite what's happened, but to act as a reminder. And they're like, oh, okay.
I remember that getting ours done, and we used a company that did video and photography, and I remember that feeling of like
anticipation, waiting.
Like I can't wait. And I don't think we got ours for a month. I think because we went away on honeymoon after, and then we knew it was waiting time, but and that's what annoys me about people who are frustrated with, as long as you've set the expectation to say this is the usual processing time, as long as you've set that. But for me, I knew it was going to take a bit of time, but I wasn't worried about it. I was actually really excited. And it's like, these are things that are really meaningful.
And there are times where you do need to do things instantly. Like, I mean, if someone comes into the studio and they want a passport photo, then they're going to have it straight away. Or if they you're doing a press thing or you're doing a corporate event and they need things quickly,
turn around,
that's fine. But when there's no real, I don't want to make it sound like they shouldn't have their photos, but there does need to be a bit of time.
It's
to let
longer
the dust
context.
settle.
It's a memory.
I think it's part of the excitement.
Yeah, the anticipation, and also like taking the disposable cameras to get them developed.
I just
like how amazing is that when you get them back? Like just having that patience.
You'll have forgotten some of those things.
Yeah.
And actually, you'll probably look at those photos more than you would
if
of
they
taking
were
a phone on a phone. Because actually, you're never going to be. You take them, say you don't look at them, because you look at them there and then you see it instantly. So you look at it, see it instantly. You don't go back to it. Whereas actually going and getting something developed. I've not thought about this. Going and getting something developed will actually take you back to that point.
Yeah.
You probably won't flick back on your phone and look at it.
Yeah.
I suppose with our business as well, we're in the business of, people want results in their business when we're coaching them, and actually the stuff that we're building with them is stuff that's habits that are going to stay with them for a long time. So, and also there's psychology around that thing in value of taking time. So I remember we went a while back to a little cabin off grid for 3 days in Unplugged, and you just reminded me of it when you said about the instant camera. So basically you go there, it's off the grid, it's solar powered, and it's not connected to any mains or anything, and they give you a little lockbox. So when you get in, it's got a box with a Nokia. It's got a Nokia phone in it that just has Snake and an emergency number, and you can give someone else the number if they need to contact you.
Right.
We didn't. We just had the little Nokia, and then you put your phones in, you lock it, but they give you a roll of film and an instant camera.
Amazing.
To document your time there.
That's
and then
fab.
notes and a little box of questions to get to know each other. So like even I guess anyone can go there, but it's a one bed little cabin, and we ended up spending the few days asking each other questions, and we've been together for 22 years, but still learning stuff about each other, and then using the camera to document bits of that.
That's cool.
Those little Polaroids, and that's the kind of thing. And it all goes back to memories, doesn't it? And slowing down and having that kind of time to breathe and process.
Because we are in a 100-mile-an-hour world now, aren't we? And everyone wants everything yesterday. So it is nice to know that you can take elements of your life and just slow it right down.
You have to.
And you have to, because otherwise you are just...
Especially in the creative industries, in fashion. Like, I mean, there's a massive drive on slowing fashion down because it's just got to the critical point now where fast fashion it's nuts and it's damaging.
Yeah.
And it's the same in all the creative industries, isn't it, really, I guess, when they speed things up.
Yeah.
So go back a little bit, because actually we skipped that bit, Michael. So how did you start your own business?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still working at Argos, so
You're still working at Argos in this episode.
Still, forever. I feel like I'm trapped there, perpetually in that stock room.
Tell us.
I've got to be back 4 p.m.
Oh, God.
Order number 267 to your collection point.
The collection desk. Oh, that's some of it haunts me. Like if you've survived Christmas at Argos and you've worked there,
Christmas.
you can do anything.
Yeah.
You can do
safe.
anything.
What about the
yourself
321s? Do you remember the 321s?
That might be before.
I think
my
Argos has
time.
had too much airtime. We need a whole episode on that.
Where you had to check if there was, it told you on the ticket when you
if there were
picked
3
it,
items
there was
left,
3
2
items
items left,
what?
No.
So we used to check that. So because obviously, anyway, too much
Okay,
airtime.
too
But
much
they would
of
get-
it.
They would get
So,
delivery.
You're
Have
getting
to tell us
you're getting
after-
this episode
Yeah.
sponsored by them, are you?
I love that.
We should. If Argos wants to
Bridge
sponsor...
Society.
Lovely
If-
editor Ben, if you want to cut that bit out.
No. Lovely editor Ben. No. But if Argos do want to sponsor, absolutely. Happy days.
Argos, we'll have you.
Yeah.
Tell us, what happened after Argos?
So I was moonlighting as a photographer. So I would do my full 8-9 hour shift.
Yes.
And then I would go out, usually to London, get on a train. And I got really lucky. I found a client early on, and she ran a number of private networking events across different venues, all through different districts and quarters of London, mainly Mayfair and Victoria, that kind of area. And it was very fancy, so I did get quite lucky. Was the pay equal to the locations I was in? No. But I was at the germinating start of my career, and I got to be what I am now, is just like a glorified fly on the wall. I get to observe everything and just capture those events as they happen. And I built a pipeline of work for 2.5 years, and then 2017, I left and went solo, and I've been on my own ever since.
You say lucky, you don't give yourself credit, because we always say lucky isn't real. It's opportunity, commitment, and your talent. So those things combining are the things that people define as lucky. But you obviously were really amazing at what you did. And
it's true, because you could do one event and then that event organizer won't hire you again. And I did, oh my goodness, over 150 events for that company in the end. And that's a lot of weeks work. But they were a fantastic client, and as a result of that, built lots of connections through that. Then started doing weddings, had a business partner, another queer-led business photography business owner, and we joined forces to create a service, which ended up with us doing a couple of international jobs. It was all really exciting, but it's just been hustling.
Always a hustle,
One
isn't
massive
it?
hustle, isn't it?
Yeah,
Big hustle.
big hustle.
What would you say? I mean, I guess that. So what were you going to say?
I was just going to say everything is hustle. You have to do that. You have to
work
keep
hard,
pushing
yeah.
forward. You have to keep doing it. I always remember, because I'm a big fan of Davina McCall, and she talks about that on a podcast where people think that people just call her to give her jobs, but they don't. You know, she's constantly calling like ITV, BBC with ideas.
Yeah, even
And,
Davina McCall.
Davina McCall
is still going to get the job she wants.
She's like from her MTV days, she just kept knocking, and she keeps knocking those doors, you know. And she was like banging on an ITV to do like an older version of Love Island, and then they created that one.
Oh yeah,
What's it called? The one where they're in the countryside. But
it's not
that
How I
really
Met Your
happened,
Mother.
but-
It's something.
anyway,
like that.
but it's the one that's for
Tell us in the comments.
older couples or singles. And the only reason she got that was because
She
had been
pushed-
kind of
pushed the idea, yeah.
pushing the idea of doing it. So
great.
that otherwise, these things wouldn't happen. So even I think, and I think people think that where people just get handed
My Mum,
stuff.
Your Dad, I think it's called.
My Mum, Your Dad, yes.
Gorgeous show, and she is just herself. It's beautiful. Really nice.
anyway,
but yeah,
but-
pushes for the jobs, and you have to go out and get the job. And we always say this. You mentioned about some people not getting the job with a event or a networking. We always say to people, you know, don't fight really hard for the jobs that you don't necessarily want. Yeah. And also, if you're fighting really hard for it, then it's probably not for you, and it's probably going to be a nightmare of a job. So actually, trying to swim out upstream and feeling like you're going to achieve something, it's actually easier to go with it sometimes and go with the people who you put the right messages out there and you get the right people back. I'm a big believer in that.
Definitely.
So what would you say, what are the biggest challenges? We talked a little bit about some challenges around the industry, but what do you think in terms of the industry that you're in? What are the biggest challenges? And are there any, I mean, I'm not sure there would be, but are there any challenges around being queer in the photography space, around being who you are, I guess?
I've only come up against me being gay as an issue a couple of times, but also more racist.
Yeah.
But I don't take any prisoners. I just tell them how it is. Anyway, but I don't think I don't think there's really been that much of an issue. Again, Brighton bubble. We are very safe.
We're talking about the bubble a lot on the podcast.
It's good in that respect. I've struggled more with people judging more on my appearance than on my sexuality. Because people judge you on three things, don't they? They judge you on your accent, your name, and your appearance. So the fact that I sound English, have an English name, but don't look English, the amount of people that walk in the door at work and go, "Oh, you're Nick Ford," which is a highlight for me. It's a bit of an eye-opener. It's like, well, yes, I'm not quite sure who you were expecting.
Were you expecting Sharon from sales?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
On the ships, they used to get tapped on the shoulder, or get asked, or get spoken at like that because clearly you do not understand English. So the ships, the ships were. I've touched this very, very briefly, but the ships are kind of like really artificial environments, and different nationalities would generally gravitate towards different job types. So invariably you'd get a lot of Indian waiters, you'd get a lot of Filipino chippies, you'd get a lot of Eastern European and English officers, and you get a lot of South African spa. So for me, as being a dark-skinned photographer, people would assume that I was not English, and they would talk at me. And then you'd see their faces change when I open my mouth, which is quite funny. Or I'd get tapped on the shoulder in the queue at the buffet, because we were encouraged to eat with the passengers because we were concessions on board. They go, "Where's the butter? Where's the butter?" And I was and like, it got to the point where I was like, okay, it's like, "Madam, clearly my shirt states that I'm a photographer. you will have to ask one of the waiting staff, good day.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, just because I've got brown skin, it does not mean I'm a waiter. Thank you very much. So yeah, that was more of the issue. Sorry to digress from the queerness, but it's just like you get challenges and you just have to deal with it. But I've never really had any issues as being a.
It's the same. I mean, we've had guests before who said about a similar question, and it's been about no, but I have felt it as a woman, and I felt it as all of the intersectionality of who we are, our identities, but. Time and time again, it's these assumptions, it's these things and it's with gender, it's with race, it's with sexuality, the assumptions of who you are and how you should behave or what you do or what you are based on this 3-second glance. And it's human nature to make assumptions within seconds of seeing someone, but it's the next questions that matter. It's the next things, and it's how you treat people and how you then interact with people.
Totally.
And you go out with that curiosity because more diverse places and spaces and people and groups are the things that are beneficial. There's so much diversity out there.
It is like that. I remember at McDonald's, I was super young. I was 19 as a restaurant manager, and people would want to speak to the manager.
The age as well.
They just assume that because you're young, you could possibly be in that position.
I get that all the time because I'm so young.
Nah.
They used to go, no, I want to speak to the actual manager. And I'm like, yes, I am the restaurant manager.
But also the assumption
it was bizarre, the assumption that I couldn't be that person.
You might have guessed that assumptions are not my favourite thing, but also the assumptions of age when you're an older person, and whenever I saw something recently about there's this rise of kind of these groups of like gay influencers who are like, oh, I reject the queer scene or I reject the gay scene. I've got this members club, and if you find older gay men creepy, come and join it. I'm like, how very dare you, the people who have paved the way in our generation, and you make an assumption based on their age of what they are and how they behave and who they are.
CD and
it gets my back up. We have digressed.
I'm really not on social media that often, so to hear that is awful.
It's vile.
That's
and
really
there's
awful.
I'm going to shout her out because she's doing fantastic work. Queer Lynn is a fabulous drag queen. Queer Lynn who has the virulent look, and I've only ever met her once in the basement of the Regency Tavern actually, just after she'd done a gig, so she has recently called out this guy who started this this Instagram and TikTok, I think, and a group of elite.
It's like you have to spend like 40,000 on a holiday with them to be part of their.
She's a pyramid scheme. It's gays,
crazy.
But it's gays who have rejected the norm. And all these things about like if you think that the gay culture is seedy and is toxic and is this, if you want to join manly men, masculine men, and she's literally called them out completely, like scathingly, beautifully. Challenged him to a fight. He didn't respond, and now they've changed all their wording because of I would say because of what she's done and the activity she's done around it. But she's calling someone else out now, another group. Good work, brava, Queerlyn. But yeah, you have to call these things out when you see this behaviour, and it is all this elitism. It's this elitism, this club, this rejecting the kind of norms of homosexuality or queer culture, and painting it as something that's absolutely not. Anyway, yeah, that is a digression.
I suppose the only other way round, I knee-jerk went to, I think you did actually use the word challenges, but if I flip that question around to a positive, being gay has actually made a massive impact on my business because I've been singing with the Brighton Gay Men's Chorus for many years, and I take their photos, and I take the photos of the actually Gay Men's Chorus.
Are you not rivals?
No, all that water's under the bridge. That's all gone. No.
But I'd love to see a big sing-off or something. Wouldn't that be quite cool?
You'd be in the middle.
Everyone's busy schedules.
Not a conflict, but like a sing-off. Wouldn't that be quite cool?
Well, if you want to see both choruses perform, then World AIDS Day, we always do a joint community chorus with the Rainbows and Resounds and other choruses. That's normally the 1st of December.
Get yourself there. Yeah,
I'm sure that will all filter through. So you can bring your scorecard then, can't you? Chorus, massive impact on my life, but also Gaydio as well, taking photos for Gaydio. So there we go.
Of course, yeah. You've taken many of a photo of us at Gaydio, haven't you?
Loves a photo of me at Gaydio.
Yeah.
He does.
He just makes you feel special, Gary.
He makes me feel very special. I just remember his top tip. Nick's top tip is, remember, Johnny?
Oh my God, sausage fingers.
No sausage fingers.
No sausage fingers.
So,
just
for those of you out there who don't know this, like a top tip, which I've since every time I feel myself going. So if a hand goes round the shoulder, if you're hugging someone or giving them a nice little squeeze, like I do, Gary, whenever we're in a picture, Nick, the first thing Nick said to me was, slap my hand, went sausage fingers, because your fingers just end up being these little sausages on the ends of someone's arm.
I don't think I slapped your hand,
Well,
did
maybe
I?
you
I think I might have said
gently.
I might
Can
have
I
said,
just remove this
as
turn
much
to
as
the
you
waist?
have lovely hands.
I think it was said like that, but
no one wants a bunch of sausages on their shoulder.
No.
So the top tip is to remove
Maybe
your
hovering
hands.
above. Maybe no.
Just leave them behind.
Yeah, but I have Michael to thank for the introduction to Gadio, because you put me in touch.
Yeah. And this is what I love about you two, because you're obviously both amazing photographers, and you pass. You were talking about this before on the way up. You pass each other work, say things whenever, because we always say this. There's enough work for everyone, and actually the jobs that you want and love are quite different sometimes. And it's lovely to see you supporting each other. I love that.
Yeah, we have a lot of synergy.
We do.
Like creative synergy, respect for each other. I think, but in Brighton, you can throw a pebble and it can ricochet off 20 photographers. But there's only a set number of people that have broken out into bricks and mortar. Like we both have our own studios now, and people can find us. And because we built our businesses over a number of years, I feel like we have not yet a legacy. Actually, I would say you have a legacy in Brighton, which is really good. I hope I get that.
The Nick Ford legacy.
Wow.
Sausage fingers.
But
No sausage fingers.
respected in the
no
community.
sausage fingers.
No, I get that. Tell me about. So let's come
That's
to.
very kind, thank you.
It was
Fast
lovely.
approaching
We're fast approaching the end, but tell us now about. So tell us about the studio. So you've got Nick Ford Studio, which you've had for
12 years.
12 years, and whereabouts are you located so the public can come and see you?
So I'm on the road that everyone knows but doesn't know the name of. I'm on Oxford Street, which is the little one that goes between London Road and the Level, where all the buses go down.
Lovely.
So I'm there.
Yeah, and Michael?
So Amity Studios is located in Richmond Place near St Peter's Church. It's about a 7-minute walk away from Brighton Station. We've been there 15 months, but I had my other studio inside the Barclays Eagle Lab. Shout out to the Eagle Lab. They've been amazing for me and my business growth over the last few years. And we've been there, as I say, 15 months. We're home to a number of different creatives. We had the lovely Danny from SoCo Marketing, Southco Marketing. We've got Amy from Lemon Drizzle, social media management, who makes social media a piece of cake. And we've got a hub of creative talent in that studio. So it's not just photography. It's where I live and do practice most of my work, but we're a creative hub with good-hearted and like-minded business folk. And it's just great. It's been wonderful. Best thing I've ever done is open that studio.
Oh, I love it. Love to hear it. Success stories. And people can find you at Amity Studios.
They can find me at amitystudios.co.uk and amityweddings.com, or personally at Michael Cheatham Photography.
And Nick, people can find you?
Nick Ford Photography.
Nick Ford Photography. It's been a lovely conversation.
But I just got one question at the end. The question at the end. So what would you say? So each of you would
our closing question.
The closing question is this. So what would you say to anyone younger wanting to get into photography? What would you say for them to go and do today?
I would say study under someone. Approach working photographers and learn how they shoot, how they handle their clients, their workflow process, get a good understanding about those types of things. If you want to become a photographer or use it as a professional, your career, you want to become a photographer for your career.
I think I would say don't be taken advantage of, because there are a lot of people who just want things for nothing, as we were talking about earlier. So before you buy a lot of kit and commit, have chats with professionals. I get inundated with young'uns who want work experience, I get people as far as Portsmouth wanting to come and work with me. I'm like, that's a long way. So I will work with local colleges, and I've got a lot of I do work experience placements quite regularly, just to give people an opportunity. And if I don't have the space all the time to do it, I always say to them, sorry, I can't help, but if you want to pop in for a coffee or have a chat, I'm happy to arrange that with you, because it's sometimes all it needs is just a little bit of a chat, and they can happily bring their parent with them or whatever. But I think it's really important to support people. I agree. When you're of the mindset of working in a team environment or working with other photographers, it really helps to feel that you're taking away that stereotype of photographers being lone lone kind of really socially inept, reclusive entities. You know, I don't know how people like that actually manage to survive and earn a living, but I think it's really important that you embrace people who want to be part of that industry.
Yeah, I think it's also, it feels like ego as well, like taking away an ego of that kind of thing. Like you've got your standards as a photographer, but it's lovely to hear you say that you would support someone having a chat or reaching out, because especially in our community, in the queer community, whenever sometimes you're very reticent to put yourself out there and to speak to people who are these big professionals, which you two are, these big scary professionals sometimes, to people who are just trying to get into it. So it's nice to hear that. So any aspiring photographers out there? Yeah.
One point is photography is about play. So it's practice, trial and error. And we have the luxury now, we don't burn through film and have expensive development costs. Unless you, of course, are dabbling in film. But it's about play. So experiment. Take photographs of your friends. Take photographs of your friends and family. If anyone's thinking about doing a wedding, please go and shadow a photographer first and get some experience. Don't just go, I'll do it.
Yes. Don't let it ruin you.
I've heard a lot of horror stories, and it's sad.
Good advice. Good advice. The last thing we're going to ask you is,
how gay are you on a level of 1 to 10?
Close. What is the best thing about being a big old G, the two of you? What's the best thing about being a part of our community?
I was going to say something really rude then, but I'm not going to.
Well censored.
Yeah. Beep. You can go first.
Oh, no. I really love my queer friends. They have lived lives full and hard, and sometimes quick. Some gone too soon. My queer friends they've had a lot of painful journeys. Some of them have had better experiences, but as a result of having them around, my life is so much richer, and I'm very grateful for that.
I echo that. Thanks for sharing that. I think I always say we don't share every time because it'll just be us telling people what we love about being in the community. There's many things, but one of the things you just touched on there is the sense that we actually have to build communities. We have to build our families, which a lot of people, some people don't really understand the importance of that. A lot of friends, a lot of people where I grew up, a lot of people just live the life that's kind of set out because they just don't really need to think about it. They're not forced to think about it. Whereas they've got those expectations of themselves, whether they want to meet them or not. Whereas for us, we have to carve that different path, and it usually involves a tapestry of different personalities and people and diverse, which I think is our superpower. I think that's what brings us a lot of richness, like you say.
Yeah.
Nick?
I think I've been very, very fortunate to be part of a community. I mean, my family and friends, I was brought up in Brighton, so I've always been surrounded by people that I love and love in return. But I feel like the most significant turning point for me was, I felt like, and this is no disrespect to my actual family, but I feel like I found my family when I joined Brighton Gaming's Chorus, because I was surrounded by people who were supportive, who were encouraging. They helped me build my business. They gave me advice. They were really loving, and we were able to be in a creative space. And it just really means so much to me, and it's really helped open doors to a variety of different things, and it's really lovely.
Love that those community activities and those things where the only the combination of the love of singing and community and love, that's it. There's no other agenda. It's just that, isn't it? I love that. Oh, what a lovely
fun episode.
No. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope you've had a good time.
It's been great. Yes, really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.